Hey everybody, John the Other here, obviously. And my last video was talking about Bill C-51, which, among other things, purports to be protecting the victims of sexual assault by barring from evidence any text messages or videos or audio recordings or written communications relating to a sexual encounter that occurred either before or after that sexual encounter. Now, this is a little alarming. If you look at it on its face, this means that the proposed new law, Bill C-51, will prevent an innocent person from bringing the evidence of their innocence to court. But it's not quite as simple as that. In fact, if you make an application to the court to be allowed to bring, say, text messages or an email saying, boy, you sure humped my brains out last night, let's do it again next Tuesday, you may be allowed to bring that evidence, but because you have made application to bring it, the Crown and the court will know what evidence you're bringing. You have to submit your evidence, say, can I bring this? And they'll say either yes or no. That means that in a false accusation, in a frivolously made false accusation, the fake accusation against you can be reshaped and migrated around whatever evidence you have. Well, this is why in a normal criminal trial, the person who is on the defensive side, the person who is trying to defend against whatever accusation is made against them, they don't have to disclose their defense to the prosecution. But the prosecution, because they have the entire godlike power of the state and all its wealth and resources and police powers on its side, they, by law, must disclose all the evidence in their case against an accused person. This is a way of having, a balanced justice system. The individual going up against the state has to have some considerations, such as you don't have to reveal in advance what your defense is. But if text messages are the evidence that your sexual encounter was in fact a consensual one, and then you are required to submit that to get approval to be able to use it in court to the Crown prosecuting attorney, well, then they can just migrate that accusation around, reshape it so that your text messages don't mean anything in your defense. That's pretty grotesque. But the thing I wanted to talk about today is actually witchcraft. Yeah, witchcraft. The thing that everybody knows doesn't actually exist. Well, it's actually still on the books in the Criminal Code of Canada. It's not that practicing witchcraft is illegal. It's that fraudulently claiming to practice witchcraft, which is what all claims of the practice of witchcraft are. They're all fraudulent or delusional, because there's no such thing. Well, fraudulently claiming to practice witchcraft is a crime under the Canadian Criminal Code, and for a good reason. And you think, well, why do we need that to be a crime? There's no witches. But there are people pretending to be witches, claiming to be witches, and making that claim to people who are elderly, infirm, not mentally well, or for other reasons highly credulous and vulnerable. For example, if you have a relative who is in their 70s or 80s and is infirm and maybe in poor health, they might be credulous, they might be gullible and easy to be sucked into a claim that somebody is practicing witchcraft, and then the person making such a claim can sell them a fake cure for, say, their arthritis or their cataracts, and thereby take from them what remains of their savings and give them no benefit. That's why claiming to practice witchcraft needs to stay in the criminal code. Of course, it's being removed from the criminal code because witches are, of course, female, and you can't ever say anything bad about a female, even a criminal who steals from your blind old grandmother. Nope, can't have that in the criminal code. Unless we actually care about people who are, aged or infirm or perhaps very young, like children. Because that's who this law is to protect. Not some tarot card reader who might just happen to be female. Now, I was going to say your grandma getting scammed or scammers having unimpeded access to your grandma or maybe your grandchildren or your children was going to happen because of feminism. But it's not really feminism. I don't know that Jody Wilson-Raybould is a feminist. She is, though, a social justice advocate. And so I guess social justice means that your aged, perhaps blind, or infirm grandma shall not be protected from scammers, and they can get free access to her. Social justice for the win. Okay, so before I say thanks for watching and have a lovely day and all that usual stuff I put at the end of videos, I just want to talk about a little bit of what the Lighthouse Project is doing. Diana Davison, who's also uploading a video today, has just got back from Alberta, where she was attending court with a person, his second court appearance, and he was acquitted for a second time on a series of fraudulent charges that were leveled against him. She also went to the police to try to open a file on the false accuser, charging her with public mischief. That's when you lie to the police about the commission of a crime. Perjury, that's where you lie in court. Falsification of evidence, which I think is also public mischief and fraud. And the police refused to open a file. And you could speculate what the reason for that is: political, administrative. Maybe there's too much political pressure from the feminist activists and only women can be victims, or something like that. But what we have discovered is that in the Canadian legal system, you can do, as a private citizen, what is called a private information. Now, the word information in the criminal courts, information means a criminal charge. That's what the word means. It's a kind of a special word. You don't need the police to file a criminal charge. You can do a private information yourself. Now, it's a little bit complicated, and we're going to be putting together some informational and educational packages for the public on how to formulate and file a private information for people who have been victimized by crimes such as false accusation, such as people defrauding the police with fake evidence and fake stories, and the police won't help you, perhaps because you're male, or perhaps because it's politically inexpedient, or whatever. Well, private informations are an avenue that you can explore, and we're going to be putting some stuff together on that. Diana is also going to be taking off again down to the United States, where there's a gentleman there who has not only been falsely accused, he's been falsely convicted, and he's serving a fairly lengthy sentence in jail for a series of crimes that he absolutely 100% did not commit. We can't talk about that in too much specific because he's still got his appeals coming up, and you can't let this stuff out until after you've been to court. And if you'd like to help us pursue any of this stuff, there are some links in the low bar. There's our Patreon, our PayPal, and you certainly don't have to click it, but I think people watching this channel probably believe in some of that stuff, and that's a way for you to help us. So thanks very much for watching, and as always, have a lovely, lovely day.